Hey there, it's me, Brian, the creator of Smart Connections and this Smart Connect software that you might already be familiar with. Let's take a look at what making your own custom GPT might look like. So, you've probably already used the Smart Connect GPT, and the Smart Connect Obsidian GPT has a system prompt that I thought would be best for most users, but depending on your system and how you manage your notes, you might want to change how the ChatGPT interacts with the actions provided by Smart Connect. So, to get started, let's go to the Explore GPTs, and then you can find the Create button, and we'll jump over to the Configure section, and let's just do something silly. We'll call it Kitty Cat Notes. So, always responds like a cat. And the instructions here, this is where you're going to want to put what makes sense for your notes, but in this case, let's just go follow the user's instructions, but always respond like a cat. Okay, I haven't tested this, so let's see how it works. I'm going to turn off these other capabilities for now, but you can definitely keep on the web browsing, the image generation, the code interpreter. Okay, so now that we got the instructions set up, we want to go to Create New Action. And you'll see this Add Actions page. And what we'll want to do is go to our Smart Connect software, and in the Smart Connect software there's a little link down here. It says Open API. This is a somewhat readable format, so you can probably scan through and understand a little bit about what's going on, but what it's going to do is it's going to explain to ChatGPT which actions are available. So we're going to paste that and click import. And now you'll see we have some code looking text, but if you scroll down, you'll see all of these actions are now here. So we can test one of these, but it's not going to work yet. And you'll see why in a second. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what that error is right now, but let's see if we can move past that. So what you're going to need to do is set these two settings. You have API key and this auth type bearer. You'll see this is found right under Authentication. Currently it says none, but you'll click API key and then bearer. And then we can go back to the Smart Connect and you'll see a custom password used to secure your local server. Right now it is just default, but in the future we'll be able to change that. But for now, as long as you keep the link here secure, then that is sort of like your password because it's a unique link just for you. So we paste that default API key, and now let's see if we're still getting that weird error. We'll say list recent notes. Okay, so if you see this weird error in the editor, I just tested it out. If you go to save your GPT and then we just go to view GPT, it seems to get around that error. I don't know what that's about. I will have to message OpenAI about that. So let's see here. Instead of using the test buttons in the GPT creator area, let's try a test here. Say list recent notes. And now you can see we're in kitty cat notes, and it talked to the API, and now you can see the notes that are inside of this test Obsidian vault, and it responded, I guess, like a cat. Feel free to click any of them to read or edit per. Let's just try it out. And you can see when I click it, it takes me to the Getting Started with Smart Connect note. And, let's just try create a new note about cats. So while it's doing that, you might notice that there were quite a few actions available that aren't actually listed yet. And that's because what you're seeing in Smart Connect is specifically for the Obsidian Notes GPT. So in time, there will be more actions available, and you'll be able to customize how these actions work. For example, the actions that are specific to notes that are used by the Smart Connect Obsidian GPT, those are actually derivatives of other actions that are more specific to interacting with files. So you have, imagine a create file action, and then you can override the prompts that specify details about files and switch them out for a prompt that explains how your note system is formatted, for example, in Markdown format. So now that this note was created, let's click it and check it out. So here we go. Here's our cat's note. And this stuff at the top, this will be removed. It just kind of is like a timestamp, and that's just a little bit of a leftover from my personal experiments, but I think hopefully you were able to get the gist of how you'll go about making a custom GPT. I'll just real quick run through the pieces again. So imagine you have your custom GPT here. You add a name, the description, your instructions, and then you come down to actions. And when you create an action, or how you create the action, is by copying the Open API, that is this Open API URL, copying that into this import from URL, into that field, and then when it imports, it will bring in this Open API schema, and that explains to ChatGPT which actions are available. Now, let's say you want to remove some of these actions. While this is a little bit more of an advanced, act like something you might want to do, it is possible. So, we'll just start at the top here with this create file, so you have to be careful to make sure you line up exactly. So, but if we copy everything that is before the next action list files, and we simply delete that, you'll see this now updated and list files is at the top. There's no more create file, and you would just save that. And as far as the authentication goes, this is necessary. You have to go to API key, paste your API key here, which is currently just the default word. As you can see, local API key, copy that, paste it, make sure auth type is bearer, and save that. And that is about it. That will get you started with a custom GPT that has access to your Obsidian Vault, and one that you can provide custom instructions to. I'm looking forward to seeing how people use this. I think that there's a lot of opportunities here. I personally plan on coming up with more GPTs like the Smart Connect Obsidian GPT, starting with a Smart Connect Code GPT. So, as you can imagine, I have lots of different repositories of code, and just like I share a Obsidian Vault with the Smart Connect software, and so that I could interact with it through ChatGPT, I want to do the same with my code repositories. So that Smart Connect official GPT will be coming soon. But besides that, there's also a whole bunch of different ways we can specifically interact with our notes through a GPT. So I spend a lot of time using ChatGPT to transcribe the note card, which is my preferred way of capturing ideas. And right now it's a two-step process. ChatGPT transcribes the notes, and I just copy and paste them over into my Obsidian. But in a future video, I plan on creating an all-in-one GPT. That would be my Smart Connect Transcribe GPT, and that GPT will take those notes and just place them directly into my Obsidian Vault. From there, I think it actually starts to get interesting, because while that may be a GPT that anybody has access to, you can create your own version using these custom GPTs and explain maybe your organization process, so that when ChatGPT transcribes your handwritten notes, for example, you have already pre-filled instructions that say, I want all of my notes in the inbox. Or you could say, I want each note to be appended to the best note that already exists in my vault, instead of having them aggregated all in one place. That's up to you. I think a lot of the opportunity here is personalization. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing how the Smart Connections community can take this and turn it into their own. Well, that's it for now. I look forward to hearing your feedback.